Hello, it is June the 20th, 2020. Um, before anything, I want to thank my dear friend Laura Ann for this lovely shirt that she bought me for my birthday. It was part of a present. Um, I love it, it's very cool. Um, Yesterday was my dad's birthday. He would have been 93. He died in 2014 at the age of 87. But my dad, Anthony Lyle Wilcox, was the son of William and Mary. And my grandfather, he was of English and Native American and a few other things, extraction. And my grandmother was 100% Polish from the same village as Pope John Paul II. And in fact, before she died back in the day, she got a lovely letter from him, personal letter, and some rosary beads, which meant a lot to her, and a lot to my dad too. So, Dad, what can I tell you? He was a funny guy. Probably, I hate to use the word hero, but he was my biggest hero, along with my mom. I mean, there's no greater influence on my life. Um, no one else is even close. He was an excellent cook. He was just a wonderful fisherman. That was probably his great love was fishing. Um, and I mean, he made papers. He used to have guys that would follow him around to see where he was going to fish. And sometimes, if he wanted to not be so crowded out, he'd have to sort of sneak around because he just knew it. I mean, he would love to go blue fishing right off the beach, not in a boat or anything. And he would beforehand he would go and you know catch bunker and stuff that he would store and have on hand. We would be out driving and we'd pass a body of water and you go, see those? I didn't see anything. It didn't look anything different to me. But he saw some sort of, oh, the bunkers are popping, or the bunker are popping. And I had no clue. But he knew it. He was always right with that. It was wonderful. Sometimes I would go out, go blue fishing in the winter, like 5 in the morning, and it was perilously cold. And a couple of times I went with him, and I might have caught something small, but Dad could just get these giant fish. I don't know, either he knew exactly what to do, or they just sought him out. But that was like a great love of his was fishing. He loved he loved funny movies. Dad loved to laugh. He was funny. He always had funny stories. Um, Interesting too. He was telling me once. This was just maybe the year before he died. He was talking about he and his father, and he said at one point his father, when my dad was a little kid, his father had a job at a place, and he was shucking oysters, and the ones that were no good, he would throw down this little hole where he was working so he could keep working. And the ones my dad would be below, and he would catch the ones that my grandfather threw down the little hole, and he would use those as bait to catch eels that he could sell as a kid. I didn't know this. I mean, my whole life, my dad never told me this, but until again, like the last year of his life, which was fascinating. He did all sorts of things. My dad was a great carpenter. You know, he did a lot of stone masonry, and we would drive around Westport and Wilton and stuff, and he'd point at a wall. He'd go, "See that wall? I put that up, or I worked on that wall, or So he did a lot of stuff all over the place. And, he was just a great person. I loved being around my dad. Um, I never understood why my siblings didn't have a lot to do with him. But that's that's their own problem and not mine. I was privileged. I think that's the thing is, I mean, no one's perfect, and we butted head now and then, but not often. Um, I suppose that's how any family goes. But I miss my dad every day. I miss both my folks. Boy, by the way, it's been a siren and horn day today. I haven't a clue why, and I want to apologize if I'm getting a lot of like audio bumps from the wind. It's just, you're given the day you're given. So, but yeah, happy birthday, happy day after birthday to my dad. I love him. I miss him every day. Probably the greatest person I've ever known. So, I hope you all are doing well. Um, Sorry to go off on a tangent this way, but I can never spend too much time talking about my dad and how much I love him. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.